You've heard of roll and write games, but have you heard of stroll and write games? Huh? Well, you're gonna. Who needs to leave the house to go on a vacation? You can do it from the comfort of your own home. And guess what? Just from watching this video, you can win a copy of En route. I'm trying to do that for all my reviews moving forward. Details of how to win happen at the end, or maybe in the middle. Guess you'll never know, unless you watch the whole thing. Let's set up the game. En route is a game, a stroll and write game, where you will be navigating, creating a bus route, essentially. Not to be confused with the game, Let's Make a Bus Route. You're creating a perfect tour to satisfy all of those idiotic tourists in whatever country or continent they want to go and see. It could be the aptly named First City. It could be Rio de Janeiro. You might brave the streets and canals of Cairo. Or mayhaps you're interested in Hong Kong. Can I interest you in a trip to Paris? No? Maybe a trip to London? Maybe a trip to New York? The biggest city of them all? There are a whole bunch of boards that you can play, but they all will follow a very similar structure, which I will explain to you right now. Let's choose First City as the example, because it is the recommended first city to start. Grab a pen of each color, grab your generic tourists, and shuffle them together with your chosen city's tourist. So we'll take all those, boom, put the rest in the box. Do the same thing for the objectives. You can shuffle them together and draw 1B, 1C, and 1A to give a little bit of a twist on the game. Give everybody a personal objective. It's usually 2 pick 1, but we'll just say, that's our personal objective right now for whenever we talk about it. Oh, and these cards are, you can randomize what city you're playing, but we're just playing First City for now. Because you're little babies and you don't know how the game is played, but don't worry, I'm here to hold your hand. You can also grab the monuments board and put it off to the side for your respective city. Straighten that up. That wasn't a hate crime. There's some differences with player count, but I'll mention those at the end. You don't really have to worry about it. Essentially, what happens is every player is going to get 3 cards in their hand. And on the turn in which they are the active player, they will choose one of these cards and put it face up. The other players will essentially get to take the cards from their hand and look at the face-up card and put one face down next to it. It's really the people who are on either side of you. You will then reveal these cards, and as the first player, you will choose one to pair with your own. So in this example, I could choose either 5 and 1 as the coordinates and give myself 4 green squares, the green tourists, or I could choose a 5 and 4 as the coordinates and give myself 2 green squares and a blue triangle. Let's say we did that one. Everybody now gets to take the 5 and the 4, and they can choose on their map to either go 5 and 4 and put the tourists in this location, or 4 and 5 and put the tourists in that location. Let's say we did that because we like the yellow brick wall. We would add our tourists into the mix. Yeah, let's zoom in a little bit on that. We have 2 green tourists and a blue person, and then we also get to add 2 roads stemming out from at least one of the sides. So I'm going to put one of the roads here, and then I'm going to put one of the other roads up here, which, oh look, means I get to circle this coffee cup as well. I've now started creating a network and creating a route. Over the course of the game, you're going to be creating more and more roads and more routes. You do that for 10 turns. You will be adding every turn different people to your bus route. Oh, those are supposed to be circles. This is why it's good to do it in the color. It's honestly great. You can do it just one color, but I find I'm so horrible at drawing basic shapes that it's better to at least have the the color on your board. And at the end of the game, you're going to pick a spot, pick that spot right there, draw one single line of a route, generally hitting the most things. So let's say we went up there, and erasing anything that it doesn't touch, because you don't have people on that route anymore. You just have people on this route. You're going to start at one spot, end at another, and you will get points along the way. You do this for 10 rounds. You then created a route. You try to get the most points. How you get points? The base is very simple. You times the number of red circles by the number of red spaces that they pass by. So in this, it's particularly horrible. These red circles aren't going to score anything. But if they were to go over here, for example, and if it was like that, also hitting this check mark along the way, then I would be able to score 2 times 2, a very bad score. Because I have 2 red circles and 2 red locations. Your scores will be higher than that, hopefully. You also then will score your goals. Whoever has the most of a particular goal will score them. They all deal with parts of your route. This one is the number of turns on your route. This is the number of times you pass by these iconic landmarks, which each city has a certain number of them, and they do different things based upon the city. In here, in First City, they're just worth points. You're going to add up the value of all the yellow ones that you pass by. So 6 and 6 would make 12. You're going to get value for unused bonuses. The coffee cups provide you bonuses as you go along the game. And there are also additional landmarks that you want to get to and touch along your route. And if you do, you're going to gain bonus points. Essentially, everything interacts with this route. You score points in a number of ways, but the core system never changes. The core feeling of, okay, on my turn, I put 1 face up, and I will get to choose from 2 face down options, and then choose the coordinates, which everybody must work with. And one thing that I really like, especially because this plays at 4, you might be thinking, well, man, all of our maps might be exactly the same, but the coordinates are different. You'll see that this is city number 1, and the numbers run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. However, in city number 3, the numbers run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So even if we choose 5, 1, for example, is this one, you can either go here or here on this map, and in this one, 5, 1 gets you here or here. I guess those are pretty close compared to 1 to 3, but they're just different enough to make it feel like you're not copying each other's moves. There might be some similarities because, again, you're aiming for the same goals, but not all maps will ever be the same. I think that's such a great game design idea for a roll and write, to make sure, that's one of my main complaints about roll and writes, is that you can do the same thing as your neighbor. Cartographers, you can do the exact same thing as your neighbor the entire time. If you make the same choices, you do the exact same thing. So many roll and writes, you can do literally the exact same thing. And here it bakes it into the game, into the core structure of the game, to make sure that you don't do the same thing, to make sure that things are different, and you have to pivot, and you have to pivot based around the needs of your own original map, which I think is just great. If you're interested in more of the minutia of the difference of rules, I'm going to rattle some off for you right now. You don't need to know this to know if you'll like the game. These are just additional things that if you're watching this for the first time and you want the game to make a little bit more sense in terms of the scoring, I'm going to tell you. Each city has their own landmarks, and every time you choose a coordinate, again giving you another little option, this is the School of Illusion and Pottery, you then get a choice of improving the value of that landmark or getting rid of that value. So if you're not touching the route, you can make it worth less for other people. Or if you are touching the route, you can make it worth more points for you, which I think is really cool. I really like these personal goals that you can also incorporate. Essentially, it gives you 3 points on the map. And so in this instance, it would be like that point and this point. And if your route is able to incorporate those points, you get points for the amount of route spaces in between those spots, which I think is really neat. Every map will also have these coffee cups, as you saw, as I circled, which sometimes provide one-time use bonuses. This you can use and cross out to give you an adjustment on your numbers. So instead of 5-1, it could be 5-2, it could be 4-1. Right? And this is really important for where you are placing these extra people on the route and making sure that you can extend and get additional road. Because the longer your route, the more connected it is, the more things you're going to pass by, the more points you're going to get. And so holding out and having a little bit of agency of making sure that works for you is great. It gives you that flexibility, it gives you that balance. I also like the choice of you get to choose one of the cards on your turn, and everybody on their active turn gets to choose the combination. And so I know if I'm sitting on cards in my hand, I can save it for later. I can know that I have a 5. I can hope that I get put in a 1 or a 3, and I can use that to adjust it as well. There are other coffee cups that just give you free roads when you get to them, and you don't even have to incorporate them into your final say. I think that's really neat. There are coffee cups which instantly give you more people in the spot that you just went to. Actually, technically, you'd only get 1 and 1. So I think that's really neat. And I also think it's exceptionally cool that each one of these maps brings something a little bit different. In Rio de Janeiro, for example, you have this Mardi Gras section where you can boost up the point value for any route along Mardi Gras because you go through the Carnival District. Or you have all of the special locations on the outside, and so it's only if you touch the outside of the map that you can get the points for those specific locations. There's also curves in there, which only require one road as well. In London, you have canals, right? You have bridges that you can potentially access. You have underground locations that you can potentially access and give you additional points. I think you get so much value in this game for a game that could be basic and simple. The amount of value and the amount of variability that this game gives you in the setup is really good. I mean, you have 7 maps. You get 7 maps in this base game, plus different goals to be working on, plus different map coordinate layouts. It's very exciting. Oh, there's also these cards, which again, they just double the tourists of whatever number they're paired with. So if paired with that 5 and a 6, you basically get 4 green in 6/5. Again, to give some flexibility of the numbers and of the people. So there's a lot to like about this game. There's a lot that I definitely do like about this game. There's a really interesting aspect of the cards that have just happened to be put out, the tourist type that suddenly becomes very important from game to game. You might be getting a ton of green squares, green tourists, but because of how you've planned your route, you might not be going by any green spaces. And so suddenly it becomes a rush of, oh no, how do I capitalize on all of these tourists that are on this route who are not going to see anything that they want to see? Essentially the theme is that like green tourists love to see green things. They want to go to parks, whatever. Blue tourists love to go see blue stuff because they're sad and depressed. Red tourists want to see just the world burn because they're anarchists. I think that's the theme. But I love having those pivot points happen in the game. I love when you're holding out for that connection point to happen and it's not happening, and it's not happening, and it's not happening. You're putting in the numbers, trying for somebody else to get the connection point to choose it for you so that you can connect it with those roads, and choosing when to pivot or when to decide to forego your 2 roads because you can put 1 road anywhere instead of doing 2 roads if you really need those connections. And saving yourself up or creating this end final product feels so good. It feels so good when you get all 20 roads connected. That's a perfect game, essentially. It's a perfect route planning, but you might not be passing by enough points, right? You may not have optimized your points in that way. I was playing with my parents. My dad beat me at this game, and I will never live it down. And he got a perfect 20 route, and I think I only had 18, but our points were very close because I was able to maximize. I might have even only had 16. I think I only had 16. I had a lot of deviations, but I was able to maximize getting to specific locations and capitalizing on the end game goals. And so our point values were really close between each other, and I do like that as well. That sure, he still won, but I felt like I was still in the running, even though I didn't get that perfect longest route, right? That doesn't ultimately determine the game and determine the score, that there are a lot of other factors in play. And the more complex you get into the different maps, right, the more robust the game can be. Yeah, I love that this is a game that can start out simple, and the more you play, you can divide it. You can dive into the more complex route planning that happens later on. In New York, the map is so huge, right? But there's a subway system, and so as long as you connect to the subway system, you can hitch a ride on your tour. You can make all your tourists go through the subway and pop out somewhere else, and then reconnect to your other route, which I think is just phenomenal. This is a perfect example of a roll and write that just adds in complexity in a very manageable way as well. And removing that complexity doesn't necessarily sacrifice anything in the game as well. I would happily play First City a ton of times. Every time I would show this to somebody, I'd play First City. And I wouldn't be sad that I wasn't playing the other more complex or more fun routes or maps, because they give such a satisfying experience just at the base level, which I think is great. And here's where I tell you that the actual keyword to win the giveaway is First City. You're gonna have to write First City in the comments down below. If you do, you'll be entered into the giveaway. More details. And the fake keyword is coming at the end. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you about the round structure as well. Whenever you're playing with 4 people or 3 people, they basically adjust those initial rounds so that everybody contributes in a way in order to balance out the number of people who get to go first. That's essentially what it is. In a 2-player game, you're fine. We each get to choose the coordinates 5 times, you're okay. In a 3-player game, everybody gets to choose the coordinates 3 times, and then you have the one wild round where everybody puts in a card face up and you can choose whatever. And then in 4-player games, everybody gets to choose the coordinates 2 times as well. I realized I didn't include that, and I also, needed to have a little bit of a buffer here before my timestamp and the final thoughts to make sure people actually watch the video if they want to be entered into the giveaway. So yeah, final thoughts. I really like this game. It's a very heads down game. There's not really any option for direct conflict. It's not a game where I'm going to be looking at other people's boards and thinking, okay, I'm not going to choose 5-4 because that's their perfect route. I have never really cared that much playing this game. Maybe I should. Maybe that would have helped me defeat my father. In terms of interaction, like a standard roll and write, there isn't much interaction. But I do like the choices and the agency that you get to do on your turn, and I think that indicates a fun roll and write. When you have, on your specific turn, you have some sort of agency, you have some power, you have some way of manipulating the game board, and you can choose to try to manipulate it against somebody else or not. In general, it's going to be one of those games where it's more beneficial to help yourself than hinder your opponent. And I like that. I like that for the feel of the game. It doesn't make it too complex. I played this, like I said, I played this with my parents and they caught on to it pretty well, which is great. They're gonna say, "You're making fun of us on your YouTube because..." That's my dad's voice. "You're making fun of us on your YouTube because we think everything is complicated." But yeah, they got onto this very well and performed very well. It's great for new players. It's great for mid-range board gamers. I mean, my parents, they play Puerto Rico, right? Like they play Orleans, they play Ticket to Ride. They're not like slouches. They're not board game slouches by any means, but they don't play Rising Sun, right? And so I thought this one gave a really nice balance of complexity and accessibility. And I think that's a real great feat. I also think the quality of this game is really good. I think I'm blown away that they've included so many maps. Like 7 maps, they could have easily gotten away with 4. I think they could have done 4 and that would have been fine. So having 7 maps in it is great. They care about giving a marker for every player, because rather than having to pass around the markers, and it does make a difference, right? Like these quality of life things do make a difference. They also, like in their insert, they have this removable thing if you wanted to have a set place to discard your cards. You don't need it. Nobody would ever need to use this. It's silly and unnecessary. But it also shows that they care, right? That they care a lot in this production design. I think it's a really well done production. I think it's really great quality. And I'm gonna give it a seal of distinction. I will. I think for the roll and write genre, it's really good. It's like a 4.5 out of 5 for me. Great tactile feel. Quite enjoyed engaging in it. And yeah, I think if you like the roll and write genre, definitely worth checking out. It's a lot more charming than I expected it to be. I remember seeing it on crowdfunding and thinking that it looked good. I should go back and look at what my thoughts were beforehand, but I can't believe I shuffled these together. Now I gotta sort them. But it's also not that hard to sort as well, because basically every one of these additional cards, you're just separating them for having that symbol on the bottom for the specific landmarks. That's the only reason why you have to shuffle in a different set of cards. Very easy to separate at the end of the game, as you can see here. So if you think this looks cool and you want to win yourself a copy, well, you can drop the keyword down below. I will choose somebody from the comments in 2 weeks. I will do the drawing in about 2 weeks, and then I will announce the winner on the subsequent episode of Crowdfunding Countdown. Or, I'll also reply to the comment here, maybe? Probably. I'll reply something like, "Hey, check out Crowdfunding Countdown," and then you'll have to email me and we'll get you all set up, etc. But the keyword is going to be, it is a secret, it's a secret keyword, and it is, the keyword is definitely tourists. That's what the keyword is. It's definitely tourists. And so if you want to be entered into the giveaway, well, you just might be able to if you put the word tourists in a comment. And again, I'll do that drawing at the end of a crowdfunding countdown episode. Boom! The game is sorted. As I was talking, I cleared away all of the scratches that I made on the first city. I sorted the cards and the tourists, and we are now putting the lid on the box. It's just that easy, quick to play, quick to put out, and a really, really nice time. Now, I should mention that the giveaway is only for US citizens. I think, let me check what Crowd Games or Crowd Games said. Yeah, it's US only because that's where they have their current stock, and so they can ship it from inside the US. But if you live in the US and you want to, or you know somebody who has a shipping address in the US, well, feel free to enter in that giveaway down below. Get yourself a cool roll and write game. I'm really impressed. I'm continually impressed with Crowdy games, Krog games. They also did City of the Great Machine, which blew me away. I love that game. And this one is a really great addition to the roll and write genre. In my tops for sure. It doesn't quite eclipse Dinosaur Island roll and write. That's my favorite roll and write, but it definitely takes out awful games like Cartographers. So check it out. That's it. That's the review. My name's Chris George. I don't have a catchphrase, and I don't even have anything else to clean up because we did it together. Let's go make a bus route en route. We're on the route. Let's pick up some tourists on the route. En route? Out in a boat? That's the Canadian map.